How do you plead to this indictment, sir? Guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
Welcome back, guys, to the People versus Luigi Mangione. He appeared in state court today in New York, pleaded not guilty, as you just saw. So Luigi pleaded not guilty, which is pretty nuts. The whole thing is nuts because, well, the backpack supposedly had the ghost gun with the silencer, the suppressor, tons of cash, his fake ID. So for Judge Caro, this will be the most high-profile case, given, of course, the overabundance of media attention that this case has received. Just look at the amount of cops surrounding this guy who clearly was targeting people in a certain industry. So many resources used for Luigi. Meanwhile, there's women lit up on fire on the New York subway. Absolutely insane. With the moronic cops just walking on by. Sick stuff. There's a lot of sickness in our society, as we can see. I'll probably make a separate video for that insanity. Of course, outside the courthouse were the legions of crazy fans for Luigi Mangione. They see him as a vigilante-style hero. I guess he would be more of an anti-hero, if anything. His defense attorney, Ms. Karen Friedman Agnifilo, whose husband is actually also representing P. Diddy in his whole rape trials, that's gonna be a crazy one. He's like the Hollywood African-American version of Epstein. P. Diddy did not kill himself, of course. Anyway, so today, Judge Caro started out by saying that the press had applied for permission to use cameras in the courtroom, and obviously they were granted. Luigi's lawyer, though, she did say that we consent, but only for this proceeding. After that is when Luigi was asked, how do you plead?
Not guilty.
He's a young man, and he is being treated like a human ping pong ball between two warring jurisdictions here. These federal and state prosecutors are coordinating with one another.
After that, the judge actually said that currently the federal authorities have him, with the state prosecutor saying that they have primary jurisdiction and therefore they will try him first. Anyway, so Ms. Karen Friedman Agnifilo, she said that given all the media attention and government officials making public statements regarding Luigi, that this is causing Luigi to be prejudiced by all these statements, adding that he was being used as a political fodder.
I'm very concerned about my client's right to a fair trial in this case. He's being prejudiced by some statements that are being made by government officials. Like every other defendant, he is entitled to a presumption of innocence, but unfortunately, the way this has been handled so far, his rights are being violated. And as you know, Your Honor, there's a wealth of case law guaranteeing his right to a fair trial, but none of the safeguards have been put in place yet here. In fact, it's just the opposite of what's been happening.
Afterwards, Luigi's lawyers request immediate expedited discovery. And that's when she starts mentioning a right to a fair trial, that there are no safeguards in place, and on top of that, that he's just a young man and that he's being treated like a ping pong ball. It's pretty interesting to see her body language and then his body language, his reaction.
But at the expense of him, they have conflicting theories in their indictments, and they are literally treating him like he is like some sort of political fodder, like some sort of spectacle. He was on display for everyone to see in the biggest staged perp walk I've ever seen in my career. It was absolutely unnecessary. He's been cooperative with law enforcement. He had been in custody for over a week. He waived extradition. He was cooperative at all accounts. There was no reason for the NYPD and everybody to have these big assault rifles that, frankly, I had no idea was in their arsenal. And to have all of the press there, the media there, it was like perfectly choreographed. And what was the New York City mayor doing at this press conference, Your Honor? That just made it utterly political. And as Your Honor knows, under Lauro v. Charles, the Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit has held it to be clearly established that these staged perp walks to the media, unrelated to a legitimate law enforcement objective, is unconstitutional. And I submit there was zero law enforcement objective to do that sort of perp walk.
How he moves his head, you can see the two distinct moles on his face, which I still think are not apparent in the CCTV cam footage. And honestly, I'm still on the fence whether it really looks like him or not. I mean, I guess it does look pretty similar, but nonetheless, I'm very suspicious. I'm always very suspicious. and she rightfully so complains that the mayor should know about due process. Of course, because he's in trouble too. But Judge Caro doesn't even want to be involved. He says he's not in control of what happens outside the courtroom. So there's that. Going on to say that we will carefully select the jury and then approving the expedited discovery, with them coming to the agreement that February the 21st is going to be the next court date. So we'll see what happens then. So Luigi has the state charges and the federal charges, with the state charges expected to go to trial first. This is what we're seeing. Of course, let's not gloss over the fact that the American healthcare system basically is utterly. And of course, there's something very profound, culturally profound, because this whole case of Luigi points to a greater systemic problem, a greater systemic societal ill, which in one way or another eventually will need to be addressed, because otherwise it's just going to get even worse. And it is one giant unfair financial system for many, many folks, while others exploit the system, all of course subsidized by, well, the good people of the country. All right, guys, I'll leave it here for now. Thanks so much for joining. Always a pleasure, of course. Please don't forget to smash the like, subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you in the next one. And stay safe out there.